recording up. Please forgive me. Yes. So, but in what sense is he telling? Kamala ji, Kamala, can you share in what sense is Bhagavan talking? From what viewpoint? Is he talking as a Bhagavan or is he talking as a Jiva in this shloka?
In the sloka, Bhagavan is telling that you and me are same only. Like you are that Sachidananda. The body is just a jada. You are that Chaitanya or enlightening who is covering everything here.
Correct.
So that is why we are eternal. Jiva.
Yes. So that is what is the critical point we need to understand from this shloka. In what sense do we not cease to exist? Because obviously we know that the body ceases to exist. In the very form that we are now here, we will not be there. That we are very, very sure that that's not going to happen. So in what sense do we not cease to exist? That is the main thing we need to understand. Yes, generally, yes, I am Sachidananda, so I exist. But can we get a little deeper into it? Can anybody explain how, as Sachidananda, I continue to exist?
Can I read out that this portion of it?
All right. All right.
There was no time when I was not, you were not, or these kings were not, nor shall all of us ever cease to be.
Yeah.
Krishna imbues the true identity of man.
Correct.
Everyone is existence, which cannot be otherwise. Either you are forever or you are not at all. Existence come non-existence cannot be. The thing does not change its original nature. Krishna points, hear me well, there was no time when I was not. This is true of you as well as of these venerable persons. As now we were present earlier, we will also be in future. None will ever be absent. To be present means to be ever so. Existence is unbroken. Everyone says, I am. What does I denote? Not the body, not the mind, not the intellect, nor the ego. For they are all mine. Mine cannot be I, the subject. Whatever is mine is an object.
Yes.
Am denotes existence, presence. What exists is I, not the body, the object, a mind. Discern the difference by truthful introspection. This is Sankhya Upanishad Vidya, the soul knowledge gained only by repeated introspection. Everyone says I, but none reflects upon its tenaciously.
Correct. Nirmala, instead of reading, you can explain in your own words. Anyway, we all, this is good.
Okay, for the starter today, sorry.
Yes, for starter.
No, it is just, okay, what is the takeaway? I am not the BMI.
I am not the BMI. I am not the body. I am not the mind. I am not the intellect, which is, they are all anitya. They come and go. They are subject to change. They are impermanent. Yeah, they're anitya. But sat, the meaning of sat in Sanskrit means existence. Chit is consciousness. And Ananda is the inseparable nature of Sat and Chit. So as existence, I'm always there. It is actually physics. Matter can neither be destroyed nor created. At that level also, Sat is there. Existence is there. As existence, I'm there. And as consciousness, I'm able to recognize the existence because I'm consciousness as well. If I'm a jada vastu cannot recognize the Sat also. A rock cannot recognize another rock because the consciousness is is sleeping in a rock, isn't it? So only in humans, the consciousness is so much more reflected that it can see the Sat and, it is getting nearer to its original nature of Sat Chit. And Ananda will be felt only if the mind becomes calm and the entire, the Satchidananda that the universe is reflected entirely in us. So basically what we understand from here is, as Sat, I'm always there. As Sat and Chit, I'm always there. Even when I'm asleep, I don't know it, but the someone who says I slept well, that is there. That is the Sakshi, the witness, which never perishes. It's eternal and it is Nitya. So at this stage, this much, if we understand it, it's good. Someone has raised a hand. You want to say something?
I have something to tell you.
Huh.
Just think, a
Yeah.
seed is there, a plant comes, a tree comes, it flowers, it blooms, it has fruits. Again, the seed, fruit falls, the
Yeah.
seed, again there's a plant.
Yeah.
All these changes happened, but
Yeah.
the seed or the plant continues to exist.
Yep.
Maybe the form is different.
The form is different.
That's all.
That's all. The form is different, but everything continues to exist. Right. All right. So shall we move to the next one? And because this is the recurring theme which keeps coming throughout the Gita, and we are going to learn more and more about this all the time. All right. So the next shloka. It is 2.13. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantarah praptir dhirastatra na muhyati. So as the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. See how wonderful this is. See, in the previous shloka, Bhagavan told us how as Satchidananda we are imperishable. And now he is talking from the Jiva point of view, isn't it? So let us see what each of us understand from this. Let us start. I have an alphabetical order here, so I'll call out people and people can.
I would like to chant first.
Yes, all of you are welcome to chant the shloka and then share your understanding of it. Dinbara first.
Dehi no asmin yatha dehe kaumara. Are?
Kaumaram yauvanam jara.
Tatha dehantara praptihi dirhatas tatra na mukhyati dehi nosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara praptihi dirha tatra na mukhyati.
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry.
Not at all. You want to share something about this or just chanting? Nirmala.
Before the last thing itself, I want to tell one more thing.
Okay.
Even in a dark room,
Yeah.
I know I exist.
Yes.
I know I exist.
Correct.
And I also know I exist.
I exist and I also know that I exist. Excellent.
That is Sat, Chit.
And Chit.
Chit.
Correct.
What does it happen when you are aware that you are existing? You also are Anantananda. It is not happiness, it is not joy, and then sadness. No. This is Anantananda. Forever I am happy.
Right.
That is what it is.
And it's not dependent on objects or the world.
No. I am by myself, I am happy.
Correct.
Because I am connecting to the Satchidananda in myself.
Correct. Right.
That is very important.
Yes.
And this, when I was a little girl, I know I was a little girl, yes. And when did I become an adolescent? Oh, when did I become? So many changes are happening. But I still say I am. One 85-year-old Tata is showing, look at this picture. Who is this? Who is this?
Mm.
Your Tata. The little boy is just looking at the Tata and the baby. No, Tata, this is not you.
Mm.
Like that.
Correct.
But so, like that, it is just a transition. The death is also like transition. But
Yes.
every day we are Nitya Mrityu, we are undergoing, Baba. Raat ko
Mm.
sote ho. You go to sleep, happily you go to sleep.
Mm. Correct.
And many people don't get up at all.
Mm.
There is a story.
Yeah.
The man, one man says, I don't fly because my father died in an air crash. So he says, you don't sleep, huh? The other man asks him, you don't sleep? Why you're asking me? No, I sleep. So your mother died in the sleep. So, sorry, your mother sleeps and gets up every day. So you don't sleep, huh? What is it?
Mm.
Somebody sleeps and dies. So you don't sleep?
Mm. Yeah. As foolish as that.
You sleep. You sleep. You happily go to sleep every day.
Mm.
Don't you? You
Correct.
so that is what it is. It is just a transition.
Yeah.
Any which ways, you are not going to know that you died.
Dying is also going to sleep is what
Sleep
we are
and
told.
getting up and getting another birth.
Yeah.
It is just like the you know it is a computer hardware software business. The
Right.
software is installed in another the hardware is installed in another computer. That's all.
That's all.
Okay, what they say is, why do you have to dwell in all these thinking of Sachidananda and all? Because you need an advanced body to be able to think like that. So under that condition, you will get another human birth.
Yes. Yes, madam. Correct.
That's all. I bored you enough. Sorry.
No, not at all. Yes, this is 2.13 is about how in the body, the jiva is a transient, how everything just comes and goes. So Padma, you want to share next? Or you want to chant the shloka?
Okay.
Yeah.
Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuhyate. So, in this, Lord Krishna establishes the principle of transmigration of the soul from lifetime to lifetime.
Correct.
He explains that in one lifetime itself, we change bodies from Kaumaram, which is childhood, Yauvanam, which is youth,
Yes.
and Zara is old age.
Yes.
So on a single lifetime, we change bodies from childhood to youth to maturity, then to old age.
Yeah.
In fact, modern science also informs us that the cells within our body undergoes continuous change, undergoes regeneration.
Correct.
Old cells die away and then the new ones take place.
Correct.
And it is also estimated that within 7 to 10 years kind of thing, practically all the cells of the body change.
Correct.
So what we were 7 years before, we will be actually a completely different person. Internally, all the cells have completely changed. What we were there at that time is completely different. But outside, maybe people will see only the bodily changes, but
Correct.
internally also it's completely changed.
Right.
So despite the continual change of the body, we perceive that we are the same person. So we are not the material body, but the spirited soul which is seated within.
Correct.
And this becomes the first step in self-realization that we are not the body, but we are the spirit soul.
Excellent.
So that's this. So, and these wise men or the learned men are not deluded by this change.
Very good. Excellent. Very nice. Thank you, Padmaja.
Thank you.
Perfectly said. Pratibha? Pratibha, you want to chant, share something?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh.
देहिनो अस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमार्यै यवनञ्जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिः धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति.
Then you want to explain anything about this, or it's okay?
No, I'll just say something.
Huh.
Just as in this body, the embodied soul passes into childhood, youth, and old age, so also does he pass into another body. The firm man does not grieve at it.
Mhm.
Thus, youthfulness may be considered as a birth when childhood has met with its death. So too, old age is born when youth is dead. And yet, none of us is the least disturbed of these changes. On the other hand, we feel, in fact, happier due to the wealth of experiences we have gained as the status of the body rose from innocent childhood to mature old age. Using this subjective experience of everyone in the world as a standard of comparison, Krishna is trying to bring home to Arjuna the fact the wise men do not worry when they leave one body for the purpose of taking another one. Thus, this stanza is again asserting in unequivocal terms the truth behind the reincarnation theory, and thus view death can no more be a threat to a wise man.
Very nice. So Pratibha, tell me,
Yes.
is this your experience? Do you worry that, I'm getting old? What is your, how have you felt? How do you feel about it now after all this Gnan?
I don't feel I am old because
Hmm.
no age for Atma.
Yes, you have that, that knowledge with you most of the time?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. Wow. Wonderful. It's such a beautiful answer you gave in one word. Huh? Yes, ma'am. Done. Very beautiful, ma. Okay. Yeah. So, Kamla, you want to share?
Ma'am, my daughter, today, last day for year ending, she has to give all the this thing for the office. So she may come or may not come.
No problem. No problem. Not at all. Anyone can join at any point of time.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
So, Kamla, you please share your understanding.
It is the same. They have covered everything, Purnima. One thing, when I had an interaction with Prabhuji, he said that this body is like a rented house. The soul comes in the rented house and leaves it. Just like how we go from house to house, it is body is just like a rented house. This is one point I wanted to add.
Very good. So, what is the rent we give to this house?
I don't know.
Food.
We need to purify ourselves.
No, the rent to keep the body alive is food, sleep,
To be healthy.
to be healthy. Correct. Very
one more thing, this meaning that you have mentioned in that presentation, this belongs to the 2.12, like natu eham jatu nasam, like na in never to.
Oh, I have Kaumaram Yovanam idiyalla maile, boyhood, old age.
No, the above one mean word by word meaning.
Oh, the word by one I haven't changed. Thank you, Kamala. Thank you. I will do that. Okay. Mistake. All right. Thanks. I'll change that. Okay. Sneha, you want to share?
So, what I mean, I read the commentary of in the Holy Gita, written by Swami Chinmayananda. I mean, most of it is what Nirmala ma'am and the others said, but there's one extra thing that, in spite of the spirit moving from one body to another, just like childhood to old age. There is one constant thing, that is the memory that it carries. And based on the experiences that the mind has, so it embodies, I mean, the new body that it embodies is to express the vasanas that it has acquired from the previous,
Excellent. Yes.
embodiments. So that's one thing that's, I mean, I'm not at all clear about. I mean,
Okay, we
I
can
don't know how many years. I'm sure I'll take many, many years to get some clarity on that.
not at all. We'll do it right away.
Never have that, feeling. You are fine. You are in the right platform.
No, it's quite simply explained. There's not a problem. Yes.
Just
we
now
will-
I
we'll do that.
explained that only.
Yeah, but
I
still,
explained.
yeah. Anybody else wants to share, or can we go into the meaning of it? Like Rama, I don't know. Okay. See, anybody wants to share, please put up your hand and we'll call you.
Purnima, she wants an explanation. Give her
Yeah,
that.
I'm
No?
doing that.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Yes. So, just to link to this, the previous sloka also we'll have to just quickly, I want to say how as Sachidananda or even as an embodied person, how even as embodied persons also we are there all the time in the physical form also. So I have a lovely example of Mata Ma Sharada Devi. Okay. And she was, of course, an enlightened soul, and she was very, very understated when Ramakrishna was there. But still, she was worshipped as a Ma Sharada, right? As a Devi herself. And apparently, once she had gone to Rameshwaram. Okay, she had visited, she had gone on a pilgrimage to Rameshwaram with her entourage of disciples. And when she came to that linga which Sita had established, apparently she just muttered to herself that this is exactly how I left it. Indicating that she was Sita, and the linga is exactly the same. When I had kept it here, as if we were go to the kitchen and say, "Arey yaar, I have left my lota here" or something. So that was the comment she made apparently under her breath. So it is actually thrilling if you want to dwell on it. There's actually someone, the Sita Ma is in front of you, and she's talking of a time when she put the linga over there. And this was not an isolated example with Ma Sharada. Another time she had gone to Bodh Gaya, and there are always a lot of tourists there in Bodh Gaya, and more foreign tourists come to those places to look at the relics of the Buddha and his times. And they were looking at the beautiful stupas there, and they were admiring, the foreign tourists were admiring the architecture of that beautiful place. And Ma Sharada apparently told, these people, they were the ones who built this and they don't know, and they're appreciating their own work. See, this is beyond anybody's imagination. Not only she knows not only her birth, but she knows the this thing iha para of all the other souls also, in front of her. So that's the kind of clarity one can get when one is pure. And it's an example of how we transcend time and desha kala vastu. We can transcend that. All we have to do is just little things: purity of the heart, chitta shuddhi, and clarity of how it can happen. Okay, so this is one little yeah.
I want to add that Krishna says that in later chapters, 3rd or 4th chapter, he says, I have taken many avatars.
Yes.
But you don't know, you don't remember, but I remember.
Yes,
That
I
is
do.
one.
Correct.
Another thing is the memory part, she says, no, that is why I told you, Saraswati is a knowledge which you gain. And it never leaves you.
Yeah.
That is the memory.
Correct.
So if I dwell in higher thoughts of reading books, of, being in this process
Jnana yoga.
Jnana yoga, then the next body I have to take is a human body. I cannot be born as an animal.
Correct.
Because I cannot pursue the memory bank which I have. I cannot pursue in that form.
Correct.
So that is why they say the memory, she said, is that memory is useful for taking the next janma according to your,
Vasana.
vasanas.
Okay, here I want to come to this point. What survives death? We know the body dies. So here Bhagavan is talking of Dehantara Prapti. What are we getting after Dehantara? And what are we carrying from this house to another house? Can
We
anyone explain that? What are we
Let
carrying? What moves from one body to another body?
Let somebody explain then.
Yeah. So obviously the gross body is gone. The gross body is not going to go with you. So what the Shastras tell us is the subtle body is very much there. So we have Pancha Koshas. We have the Prana, Annamaya Kosha, which is gone. The Pranamaya Kosha, of course, it has to move. The Prana is imperishable. That also moves from body to body. And we have the Manonmaya Kosha, the Vijnanamaya Kosha, and the Anandamaya. They are a team. They form the subtle body, isn't it? So the subtle body, to become very technical here, and it is very interesting also, the subtle body has got 19 amshas, 19. The first 5 is the 5 jnanendriyas. That is the 5 sense organs. Not that your nose and your eyes will go. The power of the sense organs, they belong to the subtle body, the 5 jnanendriyas. And the pancha karmendriyas, the motor organs, the power of the motor organs, okay, the digestion power, the limbs, all the functioning of the body, those powers are also belong to the subtle body. Pancha jnanendriya, pancha karmendriya, pancha pranas, the udana, samana, apana, vyana, all the pancha pranas which are critical for the functioning of the body. They belong to the subtle body. So 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 15. And the 4, the antahkarana, that is mahavital, because these motor organs, all these 15 are not useful without the 4, the antahkarana, which is manas, buddhi, chitta, and ahankara. In that, the mind, what we generally call the mind, has got these 4 parts. One blanket manas we call, but actually it has 4 functions. They're not parts, they're just names given to the functions of the mind. Manas is the regular mind which does the thinking, the worrying, the anxieties, the regular what shall I do now kind of thing. That is the general manas, we call it as the manas. The buddhi is the intellect part of it, which has got it's the faculty of discrimination. The intellect is the buddhi, which knows, which is right, which does the logical thinking. What should I do now? This is the action should I take? And the intellect is the one which is now activated in us when we are trying to understand all these, concepts. When we are learning something, when we are creative, it's the buddhi which is activated. So manas, buddhi, chitta. Chitta is the memory, Sneha. Chitta is the memory part, which is a storehouse of all the habit patterns that we have, the vasanas, the proclivities. We wake up at a certain time, we like a certain food, all the raga, dvesha, everything is stored in the memory. That is the chitta. And the ahankara. The ahankara is the glue which holds all these together and says, I am this. I don't like, bananas. I like jackfruit. This I is the glue which identifies with all these other stuff and make it one entity called the jiva and the atma. The jivatma, this is the ahankara which does that. So these are the 19 matras which make up the subtle body, which are in the dehantara praptihi. These are the ones which are carried. And how? They wait for the right soil. It's not just the first available body, you just go and plonk yourself. No. All this is such a beautiful network, and in the karma, the causal, in the causal plane, they are so beautifully deployed that it depends on what we are doing in this janma, and that decides what happens to us in the next birth. So when the soil is fertile, that story of Dhritarashtra. I don't know if anybody knows, you can share, otherwise I can share. Dhritarashtra, apparently, after all his children were killed, all the 100 sons were killed. He was crying, he was wailing, and he was so distraught. And he asked Krishna, what did I do that my 100 sons, not even one you spared? How 100, all my 100 children are dead? Then Krishna said, look, some 50 janmas ago, you had destroyed a bird nest or something which had 100 eggs or something, and so you had to pay back for that bad karma you did. And so she said, why did I wait for 50 birds? I could have finished it then. He said, no, you had to wait for this scenario. Why will some 100 children be born? There has to be a proper reason for 100 children to be born. The right circumstances, the right people have to come into your life. Everything has to be right. So that's exactly what happens to each and every jiva. The subtle body will go to at the right place at the right time. It is born. Even the most newborn babies and most ancient soul. So we never know from where the child has come and what is happening and what it is bringing with it. So this deho asmin, in this temporary tenant of this body, so this gets the dehantara praptihi. So it's so beautiful that in the first shloka, in the previous shloka, Krishna told about the transcendental view of how we never perish, and now he's telling us how as a jiva we just like tatahar, just like that, from youth to yauvanam, kavanam, this thing, it's as natural as that like how we just acquire the new body, which as natural as that. But for us, see how identified we are with this body, this life, this mind, this house, these relations. It's beyond our imagination to think that to leave all this and acquire something else as so naturally. But that is why, thankfully, the memory is not activated when the new child is born. Otherwise, it's going to be terrible, isn't it? See, the memory, what are the memories that are activated? Oh, these vasanas we carry. Not necessarily the specific objects that are related. So the vasana of wanting a family, wanting good food, wanting that basic tendencies are there always with us. So the specifics, thankfully, are left out. So wherever we get the basic needs are met, we are there. We like, except in prodigies, of course, it's very, very rare that the prodigies, they are born with that knowledge they had acquired in the previous lives. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen. If I have a PhD in computer science, I'm not going to be born with that. The child, the body is not going to be born with that qualification. It has to work towards it. But this jnana, this is the only the spiritual knowledge, the spiritual pursuit. This is the only one which carries over lifetimes, and you are able to pick up from where we left off. It is so fantastic. That is a special stature that jnana has been given by Paramatma, because that's the purpose of life. So as long as the jiva is pursuing the purpose of life, it's on the right track. It goes on vruddhi, vruddhi, vruddhi. It goes on, accumulating more and more of that. But the other type of pursuits, we fall into papa, punya, chakkar. You have done good things, you good, bad. No one can escape the law. That is what Vivekananda said, right? So this, whatever this body we have, it is such a gift, is what Bhagavan is telling us. It is a gift to pursue your higher goal of life. And you better get that fast. Not all of us like Yayati will get a chance to go back to Kaumaram and enjoy that, and enjoy and recognize that, this is useless. In this same body, it's impossible to do that. But just with knowledge, it's so easy to understand. Just with observance, just with viveka, we can understand that none of it is permanent. Everything is changing. It's very obvious if we look at it in the right manner, isn't it? And then, so what moves to the other bodies? Yes, the 5 sense organs, the motor organs, the pranas, and the antahkarana. So like Nirmala said, all the data is transferred to the new body. All the data is transferred and whatever is required is activated. So the mind is also degenerated. The mind is also associated very closely with the body. That is why our emotions, our feelings and all go up and down with the change of the body, isn't it? So the mind also degenerates, but not for a gnani. For the gnani, the mind, why? Because the mind has merged towards the source, isn't it? It doesn't have an independent identity that associated with the other stuff. That is why for a gnani, the mind is always alert, active, and yavvanam, jara, nothing affects the mind of a gnani.
Because the jnani
Ah.
doesn't identify with the body.
The jnani does not identify with the body. And the God, what about the body of God or the universe? That is also subject to change. In fact, in the Mandukya Upanishad, if it is said that the God has got 7 saptanga. The universe has saptanga. Okay, Chidambara. The God's body is Chit, Ambara. You know, the space itself is God's body, and the sun and the moon are the eyes of this universe, and all the other panchabhutas are described, and the feet are the earth is the feet of this universal Virat. But in Pralaya, even this is refreshed. Our one day is the God's millions of days, right? So everything that is it has got an object, matter has to perish, and they are refreshed. That is one thing. And the one in this shloka, what is critical is the word dhiraha. Why is this word dhira used here is the question. Dhira tahya tatra namukhyati. Who is the dhira here? What's the meaning of the word dhira in this shloka? Is it just someone who is courageous? For this, Shankara gives a very, very beautiful definition of what a dhira is. According to Shankara, dhira, dhiman, a dhiman is a dhira. The dhimanta is a dhira. In this bhashya that Shankara gives, dhimanta, the one who has got viveka, the one who understands this whole process of change and the anitya nature of the body and the nitya nature of the atma, he is a dhiman, he is a dhira. Only such a person will not get disturbed by the changes in the body. Dhiraha is a dhiman, dhira tastra na muhyati. And also Swami Vivekananda says the goal of human life is to manifest the divinity within us. So that's the goal. We should never let go of that. That specific clarity we should have. What is my goal? Or am I here? If we stick on, if we latch on to that goal of human life, we will all become, we are all dhiras in a sense. We are all dhiras. And that dhimanta dhira will not get upset with the changes of the body, is what is being told here. Okay.
If I
Yes, please.
If I aim for the sky,
I
will at least reach the treetop.
If I aim, yeah.
The actual quote says we might actually reach the stars, but you're saying treetop. I think it's very
more practical, is it?
Yes.
Reach the stars. Okay. All right. Then can we go to the next shloka?
Purnima, if you can share the names of the 15 elements, maybe later sometime.
I will just
She'll tell
make
right
it
now. Nirmala is
easy,
going to tell right now.
easy to remember. 5
Jnanendriyas.
Jnanendriyas 5, Karmendriyas 5.
Wait, she's writing.
Yes.
Jnanendriyas
5.
Shabda, Rupa, Sparsha, Gandha. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Shabda is a sense of hearing. Rupa is a sight. Sparsha is touch.
Okay.
Rasa is taste, tongue. Gandha is the
Smell.
sense of smell.
The thing is,
Mm.
here the tongue has both the karmendriya and jnanendriya.
What?
The tongue,
As the power of speech.
power of speech, it is the karmendriya.
Correct.
Power of taste is the jnanendriya.
Jnanendriya, right? So Pancha Jnanendriyas you got Shabda, Rupa, Sparsha, Rasa, Gandha. And Pancha Karmendriyas. Yes, Madam Nirmala.
Pancha karmendriyas
Ah,
is your legs, hands, tongue,
mm.
and your
Reproduction,
defecating and reproduction.
production, excretion,
Ah,
and limbs and
limbs,
tongue.
tongue.
And then,
Legs and hands, two different.
yeah. Those are the Karmendriyas in which we act. Hmm?
So
What is it? Legs, hands, tongue, excretion, and reproductive
Action.
organs.
Reproductive organs.
so the power of these get passed on is.
Yes. See, just one quick point here. In a dream also, we don't have the physical body active. It is sleeping on the bed, but the subtle body is very active. Don't we do things in the dream? Don't we run? Don't we scream? Don't we enjoy a good jalebi?
I
All
have a
all the
nightmare.
Panchendriyas, Karmendriyas, Jnanendriyas, everything is active there. Isn't it? In the dream also, it is very, very real. Though there is nothing physically happening over there. So that is how the subtle body works.
Operates. And the subtle body becomes that itself. When I have a nightmare, I am the Nirmala. I am the Nirmala. The tiger which is frightening me is also the Nirmala only.
It is all happening in my mind only, no? I'm the one who's projecting the tiger. I'm the one who is projecting, manifesting a beautiful rose plant. Everything is happening from the mind. The mind is projecting all this like a movie screen. Everything is being projected. But the identification is what makes it, problematic.
So
Only we are able to watch it like we watch a movie. Something is being projected. We just laugh 2.5 hours. We enjoy it and come back. But no. I will identify myself with that. I like this. I like that. I don't like this. I'm scared. This upsets me. This person is bothering me. In a dream, do we go? If yesterday I had a nightmare, somebody came and murdered me. Will I go back tomorrow to the same dream and to the same person and try to do something to that person? No. I'll wake up and I'll laugh and I'll be relieved. Why can't we do that? If that's the simplest thing that you can do, get the dream example at any point of time and everything is clear. People in front of us, around us, people who we interact with, they're all dream characters, including me. This body, my mind, that is also dreamt in Narayana's dream only. It's not that I'm dreaming of these characters. See, this is another beautiful point which makes things very clear. There is two Srishtis, Ishvara Srishti and Jiva Srishti. But Ishvara, see, that is why all the Jivas have a common experience. One sun, one weather, the general things that we experience, all the Jivas experience is Ishvara Srishti, which is projected by Ishvara. In that Ishvara Srishti, I am also one Srishti. This body mind BMI complex is also Ishvara Srishti. But within this Ishvara Srishti, I become a Jiva Atma. I am a Jiva Atma and I have my own Srishti. I project. And my own, depending on my level of evolution and my sense organs, even among us here, if I am wearing a soda butti, this thing of 9.9 plus specs, my world looks different from what it looks to the other person. It is that grossly you can make out the difference. How a cat sees at the world, how an ant sees at the same Ishvara Srishti, how an owl sees at the same Ishvara Srishti, how a jaundiced person looks at the same Ishvara Srishti. Absolutely different. And I think I'm right. My Srishti, my vision is the right vision, is what I think. which is so stupid, because it is we are depending on an external organs which are subject to change, isn't it? All the sense organs, they're all rushing towards the objects of the world with their own limitations. The blind man, that's the finest example. For a blind man, how much ever you explain to the blind man that the milk, color of the milk is white, will he know? He will never know what is white.
What is
Poor
right?
fellow. Because one sense organ is completely gone. It is not active at all. Like that, we have been given 5 sense organs, but higher, some other species will have more sense organs. They are able to see more. So we are now looking at 3D. People can look at, there are creatures we can look at 5D, 7D. There are so many things happening here. So we are never looking at Ishvara Shrishti in the same manner, isn't it? So whatever we are looking is very, very, very limited. And then we dream. In the dream, even the gross body is not there. More and more projections, more and more vasanas are activated. Our fear, our aspirations, everything is activated. It's all completely Jiva Shushti. The same thing is happening to the world around us also is Jiva Shushti, apart from Ishvara Shushti. They just are, but we are the ones who give it power. We are the ones which give it, we impose our own, I impose my own vasanas on the other people around me, on the other stuff around me. I don't like what's happening in Croatia or whatever, Ukraine or whatever it is. So yes, of course, there is the larger thing of dharma is there. Definitely, that is Ishvara dharma. The laws of dharma should be maintained. But again, for that, for Russia, he is doing his dharma. For somebody, even the dharma we interpret in a different manner. That is why we should align to the unlimited. We should align to Bhagavan. Only then we will know what is the correct dharma, which is easily said in one sentence: Atmano mokshartam jagadhitayacha. When we start understanding who I am, what I am, that I am not the limited body, mind, intellect, I am able to think in a larger perspective. And only then I am eligible to do lokahita. Only then I'll be able to tell, only such a leader is able to tell what is the lokahita done. That is why only Sanatana Dharma gives the definition, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, everyone is ours. Only then, if we have that broad vision, we'll be able to do what is lokahita. That is that's the goal of of a human birth. Atmano mokshartam. For this jiva, my goal is moksha. I need to understand who I am. From that standpoint, let me do lokahita. Because they have to go parallelly. I cannot wait until I'm enlightened to do lokahita. So whatever I can, whatever the dharma has told me, the pancha yagnas, we have to do the pancha yagnas to the extent that is possible and do the lokahita. Pancha yagnas, you know, no? All of us know, right?
Wait, let us finish that 19 first.
What shall we do?
Pancha jnanendriyas, pancha karmendriyas, pancha pranas.
Pancha pranas, Neha. Pancha pranas. No.
Yeah, I've written it down. Manas,
Pancha pranas also, they have their own functions.
Yes.
Apana is the digestion, this Vyana is the circulation, all that you know. I mean,
Prana, apana,
prana is the one.
Vyana, udana, samana.
Samana.
what are they called?
Can you explain that? Like, what is udana? What is samana?
Yes. Yes. Pancha pranas. Let me just check. Okay. So the prana is the regular prana we know, which is the in-breath and the movement of inhaling and exhaling. That is the vital force. Okay. So that's the one which leaves first when the body dies. The inhalation leaves. That's the first thing to go. That is
the gross part of the prana. The gross part of prana is left. Yes, left behind. It is only the subtle part which goes along with the subtle bodies.
Correct. So, and the another prana is the apana.
Apana.
The apana is the movement of associated with the lower abdomen. It is
That
related
is
to the process of elimination,
defecation.
excretion,
Defecation.
defecation.
Excretion.
So if we have problems with digestion, it means the apana prana is not, that has to be corrected. The apana is associated with digestion, absorption of nutrients, and skeletal health, reproduction also. Then udana is the related to respiratory functions. Udana is the respiratory, it's the upper portion of the body, takes care respiratory functions and functioning of the brain, pumping blood to the brain. Not pumping blood, that is the arteries and stuff do that, the heart and all. But the power, the udana prana has to be activated for functioning of the intellect, udana. And then the samana is the navel, is the movement of the spiral concentrating around the navel. It related to digestion on all levels. So the balance in samana prana means healthy metabolism. Healthy metabolism is samana, digestion. Then vyana is the circulation. Entire circulation of the blood in the entire body is the vyana prana. So these are the 5 pranas that have to be always balanced for a healthy.
In udana, it is the going backwards.
What is going backwards? The
Going
prana is going upwards.
That is your hachu. It's a different process. Hachu is something, sneezing is different. And then yawning. And then this is what will take away your life.
What?
That udana.
Udana prana.
Yes.
The brain will stop functioning. Correct.
Yes. It will take away. These are the things which take away, sort of. You know, the normal activity is gone in these.
Yes.
That is sneezing, yawning, and taking away life.
So the prana, the gross prana is the last to leave. The other functions of the body will deteriorate because of the other 4 pranas if they don't function well. Yes. Correct.
Sorry, what was the last to leave you said? What is the last to leave?
Udana.
Prana, this breathing. The breathing.
This is the last to leave.
Even in a coma, the person is breathing, but the internal activities are all, kind of dying by themselves. No deterioration is happening. Vyana, udana, samana, everything is going bad.
Okay.
So the last thing to go is the prana. The breathing will stop. So even if if a person is brain dead, but if the lungs are operating, they will not, people are not considered.
It's a vegetable. It's a vegetable, but still alive.
Breathing.
Because it is breathing.
Yes. And the antahkarana, 4 antahkarana, manas, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. Done for the day.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you so much. Wonderful class.
One more request. So we have covered the gross body, subtle body. Can you explain causal body also? So we'll cover that.
That is next class. 8 o'clock.
Causal body is a whole one full class. Super.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Right.
If you get me started, then we will not progress with Bhagavad Gita. But that is so beautiful.
But it is beautiful. Thank you, Purnima ji. This is very nice.
Causal beauty.
We will have only one stanza, but fully explained like this. It feels very happy and
fine. But today, no anecdotes only. I was looking forward to some stories.
We can do those stories in the next class also, as associated with this stanza.
You have any?
I don't have any, but I have a little point to make. I don't have the articulation to make that point regarding. This is something that I have noticed. So when there is a death, I've noticed generally that the kind of treatment that is meted out. The way people look at the dead person is very different from when that person was alive. Only the positives are viewed. Like, for example, when we attend condolence meeting.
Correct. We highlight the positive. Yes.
The positives are not spoken of when the person is alive.
Yes. Why don't we do that?
Correct. But why? I've always wondered why. How? Why is this tendency,
Ah,
I'm,
yeah.
I don't know.
They are
Very
afraid of the
surprising.
ghosts which will come and catch them.
No, it is such a natural tendency. Even in so when a movie star dies, like Puneet Rajkumar, for example,
Correct.
all the best things about his life came out after he died.
Correct. You know why? Because when the body is infused with prana, that means when the person is alive, that person has an ego. And
Mm-hmm.
situations with people will not always be pleasant. It's a mixture of good and bad. You know, the Puneet Rajkumar, when he was alive, he was not all good. I'm sure if you talk to from 10 different people, close people, they'll say, oh, you know, he was like this. Oh, you know,
True.
day when I went, he did that. So when the ego is operational, definitely there's going to be conflict. Gharshana is there. Conflict is there.
Relationships.
Contradiction is there. Yes, relationships. The nature of relationship is conflict. You cannot avoid it. Even a jnani, even how Krishna was a jnani, didn't he have conflict with 100 people? How many people tried to kill him? So to have an equal kind of relationship with everyone is impossible in an embodied Dehesmin. It's not possible. In
I
this
think that itself is a very standing example of the takeaway of this
yeah.
shloka. You know that
Jesus
there is
was
this spirit
crucified. Why
moves
was
on.
poor Jesus crucified, man? He always wanted good for everyone. Even then he was crucified. You have the noblest intentions in the world, you are going to be crucified, isn't it? So we cannot expect, this kind of eulogy when you're alive. Only in functions, when you go to receive an award, they will read out the good, good points about you. You come home,
Even then, not everything. I think.
your child will say, "Mom, you are so stupid," and that done. All your award will gone there only. You
Basically,
forget about it.
basically, we have this habit. I'll tell you something. I'll give you a white sheet of paper. There is one black dot. What do you see in that paper?
Just the black dot.
Yeah. Do you see the whole white paper? No. We
Very
have a
rarely.
tendency only to find the fault in anybody.
Only consciously we should be able to see the white paper. Very consciously we have to push ourselves to see the white part.
Yes.
The
A
huge,
jnani
the
can
big
do that.
white part.
A jnani can do that. See, even when
So-
Krishna is the killing Shishupala or something, he's just doing as a spontaneous act. He's not judging Shishupala at all, in that sense. He never judged anybody.
And the Shishupala comes and joins him. He comes into his heart.
Yes, correct. So it is just that, the spontaneous activity is different. Coming from that viewpoint is what we do from that viewpoint is not karma. Karma will not affect. That's why Krishna is,
There is a big problem with this Krishna. In his bag, he doesn't have anything but moksha.
That's all.
Whether it is Shishupala or Dantavaktra or whoever comes in under his purview, they get moksha. Finish.
That's all. So we should also start operating from that viewpoint. That means what's in it for me is not that we should believe that. What's in it for me is a very jiva kind of, constricted viewpoint. So what can I do for you? That should be the attitude. It's so nice to say, even to say that it's so empowering, whether I do it or not. What can I do for you? So beautiful. Let's go with that thought.
Yes.
What can it for me? No. What can I do for you? Yes, that's empowering. What can I do for, what can you do for me? I'll become very small. What can I do for you? There's an expansion in that very thought. Let's go with that thought for the day.
That's very beautiful.
The inclusion. You have to include everybody into your purview.
At least the ones who come in front of me, at least the immediate people around me, let's start with them. What can I do for you?
Let us know.
Not me, you. Yes. That actually, as a mother does that to a child, isn't it? She doesn't matter what I want, what my child wants, I will do. If we can expand that feeling to the, at least a few more people, it's so beautiful.
Let us start with the Bhagavad Gita class group.
That is easy, ma. Because I don't have to go back in the day and interact with you. That is easy.
Just meeting 1 hour in a week.
1 hour in a week, we can do good things only.
And online, you know.
Online.
Virtually.
So it's in our day-to-day interactions, we have to bring this attitude, what can I do for you? So let us hold on to that thought for as long as we can and go ahead. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Krishnarpanamastu. All right then.